So, Trevor, you're back at SVSU today speaking to high school students. Give people an idea to briefly summarize the message you are delivering to those high school students.
Yeah, right. We were talking today. The biggest message I gave to the guys was just talking about having a plan after college. You know, how important it is to kind of have a path, have a, goal in mind and how to reach that goal, right? A goal is just a goal unless you put an action into place. You kind of have a blueprint into place in terms of how to be successful. So just kind of did a little background on, how I got to where I'm at, some things I did at Saginaw that have helped me kind of get to where I'm at with the Lions. And I felt like it was received. I felt like it was a good day. Love giving back to the kids. Love coming back here as always. And it was fun. Loved it.
Talk to people what it has been like for you to grow up in Michigan, right outside of Detroit, come to SVSU, and then play for what has always been for you, your hometown team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like you said, playing for the hometown team, it's surreal. When people ask me one word to describe my journey so far, the ups, the downs, everything, it's been surreal. To not only be in high school in Michigan, then to go to college in Michigan, and then to play for the hometown team. I somehow, it keeps getting better and better and better. I don't know what's next for me. It's somehow going to get better. I don't know how, but I mean, it's been a blessing. I can't say enough good things about Saginaw. I can't say enough good things about Detroit. And I mean, it's been wonderful. I've really enjoyed my time here, and I'm enjoying my time with the Lions. It's also cool. We've kind of hit it right at the time where we've been so successful, right? I kind of hit it in stride where we've kind of hit our groove. Obviously last year was a little unfortunate, but I mean, the first 2 years we're back-to-back NFC North champs. It's been phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about my journey so far.
So while it was not as much success on the field, one of the things that you had this past season that very few players have the opportunity to do is have one of your college teammates also be your NFL teammate.
Yeah.
Walk us through what that was like for you, because obviously you were welcoming someone to the team that you were already a member of.
Yeah, right. I mean, we stay in touch regardless of we've been on the team, we haven't been on the team. I mean, we were super close here, so it's been really cool to follow him throughout his journey. And I mean, to have him on the team, not only that, but I mean, we all understand coming from a smaller school, right? The odds of you getting to the NFL are a lot more difficult, right? Your back's against the wall. You kind of have this stigma of playing at a smaller school. So to get into the NFL from a smaller school already is hard enough. To have two guys who graduated in the same class, basically we played next to each other on the field. I mean, it's insane. Right? One day all of a sudden we're just walking in and his locker's across from me, and it's like we're back at, in the Ryder. I mean, it's crazy. So I'm super proud of him. I mean, talk about adversity, going from the NFL, then to the UFL, and to come back and then ball out like he did in that Monday night game. I mean, it was phenomenal. I'm super proud of him. He's only going up from here. It's been great having him back in the locker room, and I mean, it's just the beginning for him. Super proud of Nick.
You talked about your journey with him, crossing the stage at the same time, getting your degrees, but you've not only got one degree from SVSU, you now have 2 degrees from SVSU.
Yeah.
Walk us through what not only your thought process has been, but what the discipline has been required to earn each of those degrees.
Yeah, no, I mean, I grew up, both my parents were teachers. It was honed in from early on that education is going to take you farther in life than anything else. So it was a goal of mine when I left here. Obviously I wanted to pursue football, but I always knew that I was going to come back and finish my degree. I was going to get my master's. And, like I said, I know that whenever football ends for me, there's going to be another career, right? I got my master's in business administration. Don't know what that looks like yet, but I'm super proud of myself, like you said, for the discipline it took to last offseason come back here and finish my degree, finish what I started. I'm a firm believer in that. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. And like I said, I'm super thankful for SVSU. We kind of worked it around my schedule, and I'm super proud of myself for finishing that up. Yeah.
What veteran player from the Lions has had the biggest impact on you personally?
I would say my rookie year, Jalen Reeves-Maben, he was in the locker room with me. He showed me not only how to be a good linebacker, but the importance of special teams, right? Coming from a smaller school, you're not going to get as many opportunities right away, but when you get on the field, it's going to be through special teams. And, maybe the average fan may not realize that, but special teams in the NFL, I mean, you can have a long-lasting career if you are a dominant special teamer. And he showed me the blueprint on how to, on my rookie year, he was all pro. He signed a good contract after that. He showed me the discipline it took. He showed me, when you're not getting as many reps on defense, how you kind of make an impact without, maybe not being that splash player on defense, but being a dominant, consistent player on special teams, can really just bump your stock and like I said, have a successful career. So I'd say Jalen Reeves-Maben, yeah.
I want you to talk about what your personal work ethic is, but also what the work ethic is that you need to be successful, whether it's at a student athlete level in college or ultimately now as a professional athlete.
Yeah, I think the work ethic you need, I think, is really, and I kind of just talked about this with the kids, it's just about being consistent, right? I was talking about the importance of when you're doing something, if you do it one day and then you skip days, and it can be in all aspects of life. When you're training, I was talking about working out, eating the right things. If you do it one day and then you skip 3 days, it doesn't mean anything. But if you're doing it day in and day out, doing the things you don't want to do, but knowing that, it'll help you in the long run, that's kind of the work ethic you need to be successful in all aspects of life. I kind of tried to spin it back into job interviews, talked about, they're going into college, getting into colleges, just being consistent these next couple months will really set yourself up for the future. So, yeah, in all aspects of life, just kind of trying to figure out what goal you want to accomplish, having a plan, having a blueprint, and then just being super consistent day in and day out to achieve that.
All right, so this is a little bit of a fun question.
Okay.
All right, so which is more difficult, NFL training camp or SVSU finals week?
Oh, jeez. Give me SVSU finals week along with having the weight room open hours with my old strength coach, Coach Winter. I mean, he put us to work, man. But no, I would say SVSU finals week definitely gave me a run for my money a couple years. When you're on that borderline of keeping that A and you got to do well on that last exam, it's definitely a balance of being that student athlete. In the NFL, right, you got one job, and that's to play football, and it's great. At school, when you're a student athlete, you got to balance, you got to stay in shape, you got to be ready for camp, and then you also have to kind of get those good grades to stay eligible and also get your degree. So, yeah, give me SVSU finals week all day long for that.
And then you were talking with the students, and I heard this part of it, that you're already thinking about life after football.
Yeah.
Even though you've gotten your MBA, you're not done learning.
Yeah.
How important is it, again, as an athlete, but also then just as a human being, to pursue that lifelong learning?
Yeah, right. I mean, I think for me, I'm always just forward thinking. I'm always looking for the future, right? I kind of have that struggle of being in the moment, but also I have these plans for the future. And I think it's always important, like you said, never stop learning, always. I'm trying to read more. I'm trying to write more. I'm trying to do things that, after football, there is going to be a point for everyone, as an athlete, when football ends, when your career ends, what does that look like? And I'm not going to be the guy to all of a sudden, because it can happen whenever. Injuries happen, things like that. And I'm not going to be the guy with no plan, right? And I'm thankful that I've been able to kind of continue my education, continue my learning while still being in the NFL. So whenever that day comes, I'm prepared. So.
If you had one message to give to SVSU students or SVSU student athletes today, what would it be?
I would say, I think when I was early in my career, I always knew I wanted to play professional football. And that's a big goal. And I think everyone has it, but I think sometimes it's hard for people to even say it out loud. They don't truly believe it, right? There's that almost that kind of self-doubt in the back of your head. And I had that when I was younger. I always knew I wanted to do it, but I think I always thought it was unobtainable until maybe my junior, senior year, when I really and I talked about that in my meeting today, talked about how I wrote it down, I put it on a paper, and then I wrote out a plan to accomplish it. I would say find out what your goal is, whether it's sports, whether it's academics, and then write down how you're going to accomplish that. And it's going to be a bumpy road. There's going to be hurdles. There's going to be adversities. But, if you have a plan and you're mentally tough, you can achieve anything. So.